Have you ever left a conversation feeling strangely hollow, even when the words exchanged were kind? Have you ever walked away from someone's smile feeling more judged than loved? There's a reason for that. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that the greatest threats to our well-being don't come from enemies. They come from those closest to us, not because they attack us openly, but because they love us with conditions, praise us with envy, help us with resentment. And what's most chilling? They often don't even realize they're doing it. This is the danger of the shadow, a concept Jung developed after decades of clinical observation. He realized that most people carry unresolved emotions, guilt, fear, rage, jealousy, that they refuse to face. But these emotions don't disappear. They get projected outward, usually onto the people who trigger them the most, those who shine, succeed, or express what others suppress. And where does this shadow show up? Not in violence, but in polite comments, quiet silences, and the kind of help that makes you feel smaller instead of stronger. But that's just the surface. Because once we understand the shadow, we begin to see how deep this problem goes, and how philosophers like Nietzsche saw the same force, festering not just in individuals, but in entire societies. Let's dive into 7 subtle signs that the people closest to you might be projecting their unresolved darkness, while smiling through their teeth. They say it gently. "I'm just trying to help." But somehow you feel worse every time they speak. Jung called this one of the most deceptive forms of shadow projection. It begins with small, seemingly helpful observations. "You sure you want to wear that? You've been eating a lot lately. I don't want to criticize, but..." Each comment is wrapped in concern, but the energy underneath it tells a different story. It's not love, it's diminishment. And here's what Jung discovered. These critiques often have nothing to do with you. They're projections of the speaker's inner shame. The friend who constantly points out your disorganization, probably battling their own inner chaos. The relative who shames your ambition, likely regrets the dreams they never chased. Jung observed a chilling pattern in his patients. When someone consistently criticizes others, they're not trying to correct them. They're trying to control the mirror. Because something in you reflects what they've buried in themselves. This is not feedback. It's a quiet war. But when words fail to undermine you, something even more confusing takes its place. "You've lost weight. Finally. That job's perfect for someone like you." Have you heard these before? Words that sound like compliments but sting like insults? Jung called this the emotional double-bind. It's a communication pattern where the spoken message contradicts the emotional one. The lips smile, the voice sounds polite, but the eyes, cold. You walk away wondering, why do I feel bad? Here's the answer. Your body isn't confused. Your intuition is picking up on energetic dissonance. Jung said the soul always knows the truth, even when the mind is trying to be polite. And here's the kicker. These types of compliments often come after your wins. When you've succeeded, grown, or received public praise, and someone close to you just has to say something. But their words don't uplift, they destabilize. It's not random, it's subconscious envy. And this is where Jung was most radical. He said even our kindest relationships are battlegrounds of repressed emotion. And if they can't compliment you, they'll retreat into silence. But that silence speaks volumes. Silence isn't always peaceful. Sometimes it's punishment. You express a feeling, share an accomplishment, open your heart. And what do you get back? Nothing. Just a pause, a long, chilling pause. Jung called this passive-aggressive silence, a nonverbal cue that communicates rejection, disapproval, or dominance. This isn't the silence of reflection. It's the silence of dismissal. Over time, this form of emotional withholding becomes a form of gaslighting. You start to question your perceptions. Did I say too much? Was I wrong to feel good? But you weren't. The problem isn't your joy. The problem is that your joy threatens someone else's unresolved darkness. And sometimes, they don't leave your life at all. In fact, they cling to it, but not for the reasons you think. They never say anything directly hurtful, but after every interaction, you feel depleted, heavy, confused. Jung discovered that the shadow can manifest as an energy drain, a kind of psychic gravity. These people may not fight you. They simply remain close, feeding on your attention, comparing, resenting, observing. He called it a fascination with the shadow, a paradox. They dislike you, yet they can't stay away. They orbit you like a satellite locked in tension. This isn't friendship, it's surveillance. And sometimes their help reveals an even deeper layer of control. Not all help is generous. Some favors come laced with guilt, control, or subtle superiority. Jung called this compensatory altruism, when help becomes a disguise for ego, power, or unhealed insecurity. The message isn't, "I care," it's, "You need me. You are small without me." They remind you of what they did. Expect praise. Feel irritated when you succeed alone. The gift is a trap. The favor is a hook. And behind these patterns lies a deeper philosophical truth, one Nietzsche also saw. Friedrich Nietzsche, long before Jung, warned of people who hide resentment behind virtue. He called it resentiment, a passive hatred masked as morality. Those who lack the will to rise often try to pull others down by appearing superior, helpful, or kind. Where Jung saw the shadow, Nietzsche saw slave morality, the quiet resentment of those who worship humility not from virtue, but from fear. Both men saw the same force, envy disguised as concern. But what can you do when you see it? How do you protect your peace without falling into paranoia? Jung's answer wasn't rage. It wasn't revenge. It was compassionate detachment. See the pattern. Name it. But don't get hooked by it. Your goal isn't to fix them. It's to stay whole. To hold your own truth without internalizing theirs. If you feel worse every time someone helps you, trust that feeling. If their smile makes you shrink, pay attention. You are not overreacting. Your body sees what your mind has been trained to ignore. And this awareness is not paranoia. It's power. We are taught to doubt our instincts, to explain away discomfort, to tolerate subtle abuse because it doesn't come with bruises. But Jung reminds us, what the conscious mind cannot admit, the unconscious body will still feel. So if you sense something off, it's not your imagination. It's your soul trying to protect you. The shadow doesn't always appear as cruelty. Sometimes it arrives dressed as concern. So listen to your intuition, honor your clarity, and remember, those who truly support you will never make you question your worth. The shadow, once recognized, loses its power, and in its place, something else rises: discernment, a kind of fierce compassion, and a soul that knows how to stay free. If this message resonated with you, type in the comments, "Clarity over comfort." And don't forget to share this with someone who's starting to trust their instincts again. For more reflections on Jung, self-awareness, and spiritual strength, subscribe and activate the bell. Remember, the shadow hides in the familiar, but once you see it, you'll never be fooled again.